Welcome to the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. I'm your host and your guide. We're here for you every Sunday evening from 8 until 10 p.m. To help you understand what's going on in the world, to let you see a little bit through the eyes of the Bible, looking at life through that biblical lens. This week we're going to fill our time with social issues. Religious social issues have dominated news and reporting this week. Everything from abortion rights to same-sex unions to transgenderism, and another issue having to do with bullying relative to the sexual orientation of children and so forth. We're going to be looking at some of those things this evening. The new gotcha question. If you're running for president or you're just on TV or radio, you're being interviewed, especially if they know that you're a religious type or a political type, the new gotcha question has to do with whether or not you would attend a homosexual union, a ceremony that was wedding, as they say, two individuals of the same gender. Would you do that? I believe it was Ted Cruz who said yes, if it was a dear friend, he indeed would go to something like that. Would you do that? We're going to talk about some of those issues too, but maybe it's other things. What about cremation? Would you go to a crematory or to a cremation ceremony where they were burning bodies? What would you do? Would you go to a wedding if you knew that the two individuals being married, male and female, were being married, but the parents didn't agree with that, or one of them was pregnant, hopefully, usually the woman, and you're diametrically opposed to that kind of thing? Would you go? Would you support that? We'll talk a little bit about that. There are in our society, and you know how this works, a growing number. It's already up to almost 4% of the population who are homosexual, and they call themselves gay, and they are pro-gay, and they consider people like you and like me to be bigots and problems, and we hate homosexuals. We just want them to die. We want them to go away. We are the hate mongers. And yet, just this week here in North Carolina, up in the Greensboro area, there were some churches that got trashed. They were spray painted with different things. They had, what else was it? They threw stuff on the building. They trashed the neighbor, the surrounding the building. They did a number of different things. Because these people were Christians, they were meeting in churches, and everybody knows churches are against homosexuals. And it was a pro-gay outfit that was supporting this kind of behavior. They can do that. It's not hate, and it's not bullying, and it's not anything nasty. But if you stand up somewhere in the public square and say, you know, I just don't really believe that homosexuality is right or good for a society, and I definitely am not in favor of having marriages among same-sex individuals, you're a terrible person. You're a hater. It's amazing, isn't it? We're also going to talk a little bit about Creflo Dollar. He's trying to buy a $65 million airplane, and he's getting a lot of grief over that. They've taken the thing off the website now, but he has gone off on a little tirade, apparently, against people like that who say he shouldn't be doing this, and actually has come out saying there's no such thing as a prosperity gospel. I don't think he's checked with the other charismatics, because everybody for the last 50 years has said that, you know, there is such a thing as a prosperity, health, wealth. God wants you healthy. God wants you wealthy. It's as simple as that. He says, oh no, it's not like that. We'll talk about that. There's also 17 signs that your church may be becoming secular. We're going to look at the 17 signs. We're going to look at Rwanda and the purpose-driven life. Rick Warren is apparently at his own expense, flying a number of leaders into Africa for a summit of some sort or other. We're going to look at what that's all about. This is all tied in with the New Apostolic Reformation, things of that nature. Glenn Beck has been the recipient by one of the prophets of the New Apostolic Reformation, a fellow by the name of Chuck Pierce, has bestowed upon Glenn Beck a mantle. It's reminiscent of Elijah and Elisha, transferring the power, as it were, or the responsibility. And here is a New Apostolic Reformation prophet. These folks stand over here for Christianity, bestowing a prophetic mantle on Glenn Beck, who is a Mormon. Doesn't believe Christian doctrine at all. It's just a fascinating thing. We'll talk about that a little bit. Also, Russia has dumped up to $2 billion, with a B, $2 billion just in the last week. In less than a week, they dumped 2 billion American dollars. Can you say BRICS? We talked about it last week. Go check the website. BRICH? Is it H or K? Can't read my own writing. But it's a new monetary fund that has popped up here in the last few months, and it's getting a lot of play, as they say, in the press and in some circles, even in this country. And it has the effect of perhaps undermining the dollar. And now Russia is dumping dollars. It's a very interesting dynamic. Are you following the continuing Clinton saga? Is it about having your own server? Is it about doing away, eliminating all these public records so nobody can see what you've been doing? Is that what it's about? Is it about the money that the Clinton Foundation is raking in since Hillary was Secretary of State and Bill was traveling around making speeches for $250,000 or $750,000? No. The issue is character. And if it walks like a duck and it quacks, you know what it is. The Bible says that a Christian is to be above reproach, which means that nobody should look at you and think that there's anything going on that's wrong. Nobody should listen to you and think, is he telling the truth? Our lives should be a testimony of everything right and good. Do they believe what you say? If your critics came out and said horrible things about you, would they say, well, it could be? It shouldn't be that way. We're going to talk about all of those things and more on the Sunday night edition of the Bible Forum here on April 26th. And we invite you to go to the website later on, and you can see how all of these things sifted out and some of the discussions as we go along. So stay tuned. And come back next Sunday at 8 o'clock and watch some more.